And good afternoon, Frankston. It is the end of the campaign. Yesterday was official election day. Here we are on a kind of sunny, sort of rainy, cold Sunday. We've seen the news this morning about the short extension to current restrictions, which I'm sure we're all disappointed about. But it does give us an opportunity to sit at home, have a bit of a conversation about how the campaign went, and reflect on the last few months. My campaign started on July 15th, and since then, we've grown from a conversation that was just Peter and I to a group of six, and I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to Glenn Cooper over the course of the campaign as well. We have recorded over 20 hours of conversation. I'm sure every minute of it was riveting. That's without including Glenn Cooper's show as well, which is probably a similar number of hours over the course of the campaign period. We've reached literally thousands and thousands of people across the whole of Frankston City. And now we're going to tell you what we really think. No, I'm joking. We're here just to kind of have a bit of a reflection on the campaign and to celebrate what has been quite a remarkable achievement in bringing a team together. We are all fingers crossed, hoping that everyone on the screen gets elected, including Glenn Cooper. I do have a pre-recorded, Glenn's not happy about that idea. We do have a pre-record from the very famous Oliver Hill, candidate from West Ward. I did get a update from the VEC this morning stating that Oliver Hill has in fact been elected as the candidate for West Ward, unopposed. Apparently he's having a whale of the time now and couldn't join us live, but may be able to join us in the comments. West Ward jokes are certainly encouraged. We're going to go through some of the highlights and lowlights of the campaign. We're going to talk about some of the things that we've learned about Frankston, and we're going to throw some big ideas that we may not have necessarily put to the electorate. And I've got a few examples from other parts of Victoria of what campaigning should have looked like. I'm going to kick over first and ask Glenn to say hello. And Glenn, it's great to have you on my show instead of on your show. But what's your reflections on the campaign?
Mate, I suppose there's a bit of a different kind of a campaign this time, mate. You know, like I don't think there's ever been a campaign run where the only real kind of thing you do is sticks things in letterboxes or social media. It was actually very interesting, right? You all brain stuffed me. My brain is still dead, right? Because I've never heard so much crap come out of people's mouths. It's amazing what people will say just to have a little leathery, warm seat sitting in like the round table, as they would call it. But yeah, no, it was a bit of fun. It was interesting to hear people what they were about. And I think, like what I liked about it actually, well, I wasn't interested in your politics or anything like that. I wanted to find out who the people were going to sit on that chair and try to represent us for 4 years and try to take it out to the our local community. And talking about hours, I think I calculated it all out, in the 2 months, right? Because I started just before you did, Steve. I think I actually recorded something like 32,000 minutes.
Wow.
Right, of interviews and everything over the last few months. As like I said, mate, I think everyone behaved themselves, right? I think the only real bad behaviour was actually me when I told everyone off. I know. We had one little incident.
Yeah.
But, we're trying to teach them passive behaviour, right? Passive aggressive behaviour, but overall it was pretty good. And I was actually one of the best ones that I did, right? And Justin was involved with that one, right? But he talked a lot of crap.
Why don't you tell us what you really think, Glenn? Come on.
Right. Typical would-be politicians, really. But I think one of the best ones I actually did was actually the whole of the Northwest Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had the two young girls on, Jessica and Hannah, right? And I tell you what, they spoke from their heart. what was missing sometimes within cider council. They'd done a great job, and mate, they were actually a couple of times there. One of them cried, right, because Justin was bullying her.
Oh,
Only joking, Justin. He wasn't.
That's all right, mate. The votes are in now. You can say it. It's fine.
The drinking meeting?
Huh?
You okay?
Oh, Sue, that's right. You were there too, weren't you?
I was.
You
Yes,
were.
I was. Yeah.
Sue was very nice about it all. They're just no, I think it was only two of us that actually lost our cool. That was me and Justin. So yeah, but it was fun, right? And it was actually good to do it. I'll tell you what, I couldn't wait to do that last one with the young twins.
Mhm.
I know, because that was my last one I done. I said, I am so brain dead. I'm glad it's over. So good luck
Yeah.
to all of you, whoever got in. Don't forget that I will be doing something like this once a month or something like that, and I'm going to be calling it "Keep the Bastards Honest."
excellent.
Righto. So
Brilliant.
I'm going to be
Bring
keeping
it
up
on.
live shows,
Excellent.
and I'll be hounding and hassling whatever candidates are in there or whatever who's on council to make sure that everything that you promises wasn't bullshit. Right. Sorry, everyone. Guru says it as it is.
Yep. Good idea.
Good.
I'll shut up now, Steve. Thanks for asking me. You shouldn't have asked.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. And look, I think we're going to have some tough questions for you by the time we're done as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you might have to get ready for a few tricky ones.
All right, I'm glad I wore my biker gear then.
Now,
Good move.
now before we get on to Shane first to talk about the highlights of the campaign for him. Who was happy with the Tigers win last night?
Not that
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
The Tigers.
The
Go
real
Tigers.
game's on tonight.
Okay, real game is on tonight. I don't have a Melbourne Storm jersey, so I thought I'd wear my Melbourne Rebels one. It's almost league, so good luck to the Storm tonight. We need a bit of sunshine in Melbourne, and at least we don't have salary cap issues this time for them to deal with. Shane, highlights of the campaign for you.
And I'll just pop it off on mute. Hello, everyone. So campaign highlights. Well, probably when it started to on Friday, what a roller coaster. That's all I can say. Like from deciding a couple of months ago, and that was probably a slow burn, probably about a couple of years. Even I spoke to Glenn a couple of years back and I said, oh, it would be a good idea. And he goes, nah, don't. Gave it a bit more thought. And then, so just throwing myself into it. Meeting all you guys plus all the other candidates across the whole city of Frankston has been really good. Knowing the ins and outs and all the bits and pieces that go along with that. The campaigning, the bad weather, when letterboxing, all of that stuff just goes in, and I think everyone had a bit of that because there was a lot of times where it was raining and you go, oh, really? I've got a couple of thousand left. And plus even just conversing back and forth with the public about what I thought was needed versus now I've got more of an understanding because of that back and forth in terms of what the city, Northeast Ward is where I'm at, is what they needed versus what I thought they needed. So I'm looking forward to keeping that up. So obviously if I get elected, just keeping that up because that keeps your ear to the ground. And there's one thing to go, oh yeah, that's probably what they need. No, well, it can change. So especially with Corona, all the stuff that's going on needs to change. So I think the council needs to be a bit more proactive about how they engage with the public in terms of what they need, what's needed right now. So we've got a budget that's set up for the next 6 months or so that is set up for a pre-Corona environment. That might need to change as well. So if that that might need to get addressed somehow. So what else is there? So that's the good, the bad. And the best idea. So a couple of them have sent, and this is from my ward, this people going, we should do this. So it's not water parks or anything, but they wanted a chairlift going right down the guts of Sweetwater Creek. And I'm like, I'll look into that. But that's in the South Ward. I'm like, okay, whatever. And So that was the main one. That was quite outlandish. I'm like, I don't even know how that would work because you wouldn't really get a scenic thing unless it went right up over the top of Oliver's Hill. So
You could
yeah.
do a chairlift that goes up Oliver's Hill,
Yeah.
through Sweetwater Creek, then up Heather Hill Road, cuts through the Langwarrin Flora and Fauna Reserve, then back
there we
across
go.
to the Pines Flora and Fauna Reserve.
Oh,
glad you
link
said
them
the
all up.
Pines, I was going to object.
Yeah.
Point of order.
What's
Oh,
Shane?
that's
What's
a good idea. Yep.
What's the one thing through this campaign that you've learnt about Frankston you didn't know before?
Just the passion, the passion that living in Carrum Downs as long as I had previously, and now living in Langwarrin, just the passion that people have for living here. Like as much as a lot of people go, oh, it's just Carrum Downs, whatever, and a lot of the main flashy bits are for Frankston, and the waterfront and all that stuff, which it is what it is. But there's a lot of passion in terms of getting their suburbs right. So the Carrum Downs, they just want nice things. To have nice place to live, to bring up their kids, have the services, parks, all that kind of stuff. So, and just looking through all the different reserves and stuff that the Northeast Water has, especially, it's getting there. It's getting a lot better than what it has been. So it's just it's just rubbish stuff. When I say rubbish stuff, I mean like collecting the rubbish. It's the footpaths, it's the road maintenance and stuff, and the the Snap, Solve and Send
Solve,
yeah. That's getting some great results. So a lot of people will go, yeah, I spoke to them straight away, and they're on it straight away. So if the council can be doing that, and we can concentrate on the bigger issue in terms of the perception of waste, all that kind of stuff, well, then I think we're probably in a better spot to move forward. So yeah, and that was the main thing, is the passion in all the suburbs. So not only Carrum Downs, Skye especially, obviously Sandhurst. So I've spoken to heaps of people in Sandhurst because they don't think that their voice is being really heard. And also in Langwarrin, because that's where I'm from. So it's good. Good. So
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Shane.
Yep. Cool.
Awesome. Brilliant. Glenn, do you think you'll do all right?
Oh,
What's
I hope
that?
so.
Do you think you'll do okay if you
Who's
get
that?
selected? Shane.
Shane.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, he needs to polish his head.
Is he?
So I wasn't listening to a word he was saying. I'm watching the run.
You're shit.
Mate, the Broncos.
Thanks, man. Thanks for your
Roosters-
support. Woo!
The Broncos just scored again.
You're a trucker.
That's
You were nearly the
technical,
first
mate.
person.
Nah,
You were nearly the first person to like my page, Glenn. Come
Mate.
on, don't start talking it down now.
I actually look. As Shane said, going back about 2 years ago, I know the stuff that he was going through trying to run a business down on the foreshore. And Shane, really, to be honest, is for Triple TAF. That's the thing about fishing. Has actually sponsored us a couple of times and done some good things for us, righto. And to have a business like his down on the foreshore and the way the council had actually, righto. Hey, because this is a wrap up. If you don't like my smoking, whistle Dixie because I'm having a smoke. But yeah, it was, and the reason he actually ran was because he didn't like some of the things that I've got another mate that wanted to run a business down at Oliver's Hill. He's called Ducks Tackle, and he's just been knocked back as well, right? Which is ridiculous because if you want to actually get the foreshore and Frankston up and going, we need to have the likes of Shane's businesses and things like that. And other business, we've got a couple of food vans down there, and we've got and things like that. Right? It attracts people, and Shane's business did. So I understand why he ran. Right? I told him that's not the only reason you have to run for.
No.
Right? And he's
and that to be fair, I haven't elaborated or used that as a platform in the whole election. So, and
Watched all that.
Yeah. So, but if I could make a difference, so there's the other thing of getting obviously elected for, but then also I can hopefully affect change, which means that we can start more businesses. So if there's local kids in the area that want to start a business or whatever, instead of the council going, saying, how can we help you? Easy. And that's what was missing. I felt that they didn't have that mentality. So, but yeah, thanks
He's
for
got the
bringing that up.
passion.
Glenn.
Shane, the campaign's finished, mate.
Yeah,
it's all
the
done.
campaign
It's
is
all
over,
done,
Shane.
It's
Yeah.
all done.
Shut up.
Don't change your vote. Vote one, Shano. Woo!
I'm going to go in reverse order of people joining my Facebook Live. So, Justin, I'm going to come to you now, just as he takes a sip of his drink. Justin, highlights, lowlights, big ideas.
Oh, well, probably the low light was, meeting the likes of Shane Osborne there and young Glenn Cooper. Look, you know what? I guess any city's not the perfect place, but it's all about inclusion. No, look, I don't have a lot of low lights. I don't like to dwell on the sort of negative things. There's some pretty ordinary things that happened during the campaign and some pretty ordinary things that were said and done. But look, I guess that was a lot of things from a very, very small section of the candidates. Definitely highlights, and tell me if you can't hear me properly because my dial-up's not working fantastic today. Look, highlights have been, sort of when we started, and I think this is something Sue will agree with me on. It sort of felt like we're both. Well, I shouldn't speak for you, Sue. That I was standing on the cliff face there, sort of all on my own, and there was all these other people doing wonderful things, and it's about trying to find traction, trying to find people with sort of common goals and common interests, and that are on the same page as you are, and look, sort of coming in later in the piece, I found that incredibly difficult. I had formed some opinions about people in this room, and I was big enough to sort of dig inside, and that was actually about you, Stephen, which we had that chat a while ago. Sorry about the screaming. I've got a 10-month-old in the background.
That's all right.
I think he might have found one of his toes. So look, going back to what I said, so yeah, look, I'd formed some opinions on some other candidates. Stephen was one of them, and I'd formed the wrong opinion. I was a big enough man to call up Stephen and go, hey, I think I've got you wrong. We hashed out a couple of bits and pieces that I'd decided, and he changed my mind about things and invited me onto the show, which was fantastic. And of course, I got to meet Brad, and I was Peter, I suppose. Peter was there too. No, I met some really great people. But the thing I took away from most of this is, look, coming back to something that Mr. Cooper here always says, which is you're not a resident until you've been here for 20 years. So after I heard that, I thought, oh Jesus, I'm not even close to being a resident. I'm not even halfway there. I like to think that I knew Frankston, but I can tell you, up until Friday, or even the weeks leading up until, I don't know that I did. The sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Is it just the direct response to everything? Nobody was holding back to say what they thought. And at first it really caught me off guard. I didn't expect that. It was sort of everyone gave the horns, and everyone was very, very passionate about it. I later found out that that's a fairly common practice for the Frankston elections. Just, say what you feel what you're saying, say what you mean. But I've come to appreciate that too. There are a lot of passionate people in our city that care about our city. And that's the biggest thing I've taken away from this. It's not as though everyone's going, oh, it's just another election. I really don't give a crap. They do. And that is the beautiful thing about this place. So no lowlights, just highlights. And even meeting some good people like Glenn, Shane and Peter. I'll even give them that though. It's been really great to meet some like-minded people along the way. That's as good as a compliment as you're going to get off me, Mr. Cooper. I'm sorry.
First thing anyone's ever said nice about me.
Oh, come on. I've been nice.
There's a bromance growing here, Shane. Don't be jealous.
Okay.
So Justin, what's your big radical idea that you didn't put to the electorate?
Oh, my big radical idea. Well, I'm sorry to say that a couple of the other candidates that took it, I was hoping to put a water park in the Flora and Fauna Reserve.
Okay, you're obviously not going to get that one.
Straight face.
You should have brought that one up in the campaign.
I should have done.
Brilliant.
Who needs a Greenwich when you can have a water park? Hey,
Just carve it up, mate. Just carve it right up.
Unreal.
So have you got any original contributions there?
Have I got any what?
Original contributions to the big ideas?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
No.
All right.
Give me a couple of minutes and I'll make one up.
All right. Glenn, how do you think you'll go? If you
Oh,
get
mate,
selected?
with that haircut, probably go nowhere. You'd hate to be in a pub scene and you wouldn't pick him up, would you? If you're a Sheila. No, look, once again, we do need some young blood, right? With Insider Council, we have for a lot of years now, and new blood. I know Justin's, interviewing Justin a couple of times and having some talks with him offline. All right. I think that he's actually going to give it a good run. I think we've got a wager going who's going to get in who, haven't we, Justin?
Oh, I don't know. Have we got a wager or not?
You said we did.
You haven't given me your tips.
Mate, I'm going to wait under next week when everyone gets in. I'm going to tell you who it is, what it is.
Yeah, just scribble them down real quick.
Right. But look, he's got some great ideas. I think that, right, as I said, new blood, right, that we do it in Frankston. So, look, I'm not going to say much after that because the Northwest Ward is my ward, I know, and mate, if they don't do the right thing in here, I'm going to be going after them. So yeah. No, I think he's got part of a chance, right? There was out of about 4 of them there, right? And then, excuse me, can I ask where you work and where you live?
Can you ask where I work and where I live?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Anyone in the Northwest Ward, I want to know.
Yes, I live in the Northwest Ward and I work in the Northeast Ward.
Right. So,
There you go.
thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Glenn.
If that's okay with the the future Councillor Osborne there, I'd love to continue working in the Northeast Ward if that's okay, Shane.
That's fine. But I've got a permit system that will need to get filled out.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. You need
All right.
4 or 5.
Point of order, Shane. You've had your minute. Okay. So you joined us quite a bit before Shane and Justin did.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
it must be it's at least a month, if not 6 weeks, that you've been joining us as well. I've seen your campaign evolve from one where you had a sort of limited online presence to actually just getting out there. Every morning I'd wake up, there'd be another Sue Baker video on my Instagram or my Facebook. What are the highlights for you?
Oh, there have been a lot of highlights actually. Learning to drive Instagram has been one of my learnings, and using Facebook in the way that everyone's had to this campaign. And as Glenn said, the social media nature of this whole election has just been extraordinary, really. I think we'll all look back and think, how the heck did we actually communicate with anybody? So it's been a thrill for me to just get feedback from people by message or on the phone or text. So knowing that I haven't actually met them or bumped into them in the street, I've still come across their phone or their laptop somehow, and there's enough in what I'm sort of positioning or enough about me to give me a call. So that has been an awesome learning curve. I will be the new kid on the block out of all the candidates that are standing for election this time, so I'm very aware of that. Having worked in all sorts of parts of the world and all sorts of communities, it's not strange for me to sort of be quite new and then throw myself in, because that's what I do with organisations. I hit the ground running and I get to know issues. This is my home. Northwest Ward is my home. So having chatted to Sandra Mayer earlier in the year, she planted the seed, and then I started watching council meetings. Anyway, the whole thing grew, and then by the time we knew we were actually going to have these elections, the minister said, yep, let's go. I thought, you know what, going to throw my hat in the ring here. I know I can bring a lot, different style, culture, approach, experience. So we'll see how that pans out. But what I have got out of it as an absolute minimum, and actually it's pretty awesome, is getting to know so many people in the community. I don't think I would have got to have found out so much about Frankston in the 2-3 months of this campaigning, even if I'd lived here another 10 years, quite frankly, because I've got to meet so many people. We've been asked questions by so many community groups. I really know a lot about my Northwest Ward. I perhaps need to hold back on I need a tour from Shane and a tour from you on the other 2 wards to really get to know them. But in terms of the Northwest ward, I've learned so much, and then about Frankston too generally. And we have so much going for us as a city. The investment from state and federal governments has been phenomenal. So, you know, talk about setting everyone up to have a great launch pad. So I've been really excited and buoyed by just being involved, learned a lot, got to meet a great bunch of people. But the low light for me is just that we've been doing it in a COVID environment. So for me, living on my own, being on my own since the end of August, when my son headed off to work, he had to go overseas to work. That was an opportunity. So that's been weird, you know, being in isolation. So this has almost saved me from going completely bonkers. So the whole mental health piece that Glenn talks about and the girls, you know, that's really been a subtext for me around, and I get it anyway, and I work in that field anyway. So that's the only low light. Anything else, the shenanigans of campaigning, I feel like I've been in an episode of House of Cards sometimes, you know, with all the stories and the gossip and stuff that's going on has been all part of the wow, you know, I put my hand up. I'm now learning every day about what this actually means. So that's some of my experience.
What's your big idea, Sue? What's the big radical thing that you didn't tell anyone about?
I always take things really seriously, and I did my prep earlier today. So I do have a radical big idea that I would like to talk you through. So what you can see here is the West Ward over here. And the big idea is to, all great cities have a hop on, hop off service. So Melbourne has the number 35 city tram that goes round in a loop and you can hop on and off. So I think the West Ward is drastically in need of development and infrastructure. So I think there needs to be a water world development out in the bay. So, and our circular route can be start wherever you like, but if we started at Long Island by building a new pier from Long Island, we can take in the decommissioned hovercraft from around the world to transport people out to Waterworld. They could hop off there. They could do a side trip up to the Seaford Pier, potentially. But then from Waterworld, they go back to Frankston Pier. Obviously hop off there, take in the foreshore. Then they have a range of boating options, anything from kayak, canoe, small boat, or even one of those airboats, because I know the dredging is an issue up Cananook Creek. So depending on how much money has been going in, we might need an airboat to float up Cananook Creek. Stop off points, your Cheeky Squire, one Pear Tree Cafe, there's another little viewing point that's being built up there, taking us all the way back up to Cananook Creek at Long Island. Of course, we've got the Bluestone toilet block there, so that really needs to be another hop-off point. So that was sort of I've written loads of notes about how successful this project could be, and it would be free to all Frankston residents, part of their rates, I think. Shane, sorry, it doesn't directly involve the Northeast Ward, but I think, you know, I know there are other ideas across the Pines that would get people involved in another way, but that's my plan, the hop on, hop off through the West Ward. Anyway, yeah.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely
love
it. Have you approached Kevin Costner about this?
That reminds me.
Kevin.
It reminds me of the plans that he does on Home Alone. Is it Home? Yeah, Home Alone. You know where Macaulay Culkin's done up the plans of the house? No, come on, don't leave me hanging here, guys. You know what I'm talking about?
We know what you're talking about.
Anyway.
I think it's a brilliant idea. So I'd definitely be voting for that one.
I like it.
And I'm, you know, Waterworld. Are you talking kind of Waterworld like SeaWorld up in the Gold Coast? Are you talking Waterworld like Kevin Costner?
Oh no, Kevin Costner Waterworld.
So kind of Mad Max comes to Frankston.
Yeah, and you could have overnight accommodation on there. I think we could do something about the tree canopy. We could get some trees planted out there. You know, it's a big, you know, an investment, a tourist attraction, but also part of this hop on, hop off tour the number 9 tour. I thought it ought to be
Number 9 tour,
Number
like it.
9 tour. For and obviously we charge tourists, but the locals can hop on and hop off as much as they like. And the airboats,
Brilliant.
of course, a real plus, because people do love to stand on an airboat, don't they, and just drive it down the Cannonook Creek. So I think that'll be a winner too.
Well, you
Glenn
can't get a boat
Cooper.
in Cannonook Creek.
No,
Did I just
Hey,
get you,
hey,
Justin?
to dredge it a bit.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's
uh,
why it would work. The airboats, Everglades, you just glide over the top. So anyway, seasonal maybe
So-
the airboats.
So is the Eastward classed as tourists? I'm just asking for a friend.
The Eastward, Westward.
Well, you could do a really long water slide from the northeast ward down to the west ward.
Yes,
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
you could.
Yeah, you just got to
And
think
like a
laterally
mid-
about the opportunities.
like a midpoint at the Pines. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is where my idea is. Glenn, how do you reckon Sue will do?
Well, I hope one thing I've had to say to Sue, I hope she's actually going to put some money towards ecological studies and also marine life and marine studies and everything like that, what it will do to the environment and the beachfront. Righto, if you're going to put up these stupid ideas.
Yeah, it did
Anyway,
have to.
Go on.
I was going to say it did have to be our worst idea, but actually it grew on me as I started drawing it up. But
Yeah.
anyway, no.
And no, look, another thing is too, we can't get boats in Cannonook Creek as it is. You know, and that's one thing I'll be after you as councillors is actually fixing up once and for all Cannonook Creek. Anyway, Sue is a bit of a dark horse.
Hmm.
When I first met Sue and I learned a little bit about her, I said, this woman's got no chance in the world. I know, and I actually think that
Stop.
as the underdog in Northwest Ward, all right, like I said, I think she's going to be a bit of a surprise. I think not only just being a female that's actually running for it, but where I didn't give you much chance, Sue, and I'm being honest, straight down the line, when I first interviewed you and first met you, you're only a little resident. You've only been here for a couple of months, sort of thing. And I
Yep.
said, how can someone run for our council, our lovely place of Frankston, and has got no idea what Frankston is all about, who Frankston is, right? The people in Frankston, right? Most people that come here to Frankston, right, when they first come here, right, half the time I wonder why they move here, right? I know why, because we've got beautiful beaches and we've got lovely, it's a great, great town. But all the bad publicity we get here, why do people move here? But so many people actually do move here because it's actually a great town. I didn't give you much chance at all. But after listening to a lot of things that you've talked about, you've studied, you've gone in there, you've got a business background, right, that's actually better than most people that I know that have actually ran for council, right? I think you're a dark horse, to be honest. Right? Now, like
Thanks,
I said,
Ken. I take that as a compliment from you.
Well,
And my heart's in the right place.
well, that's the whole thing. Your heart's in the right place. You've made Frankston your hometown now. You've done a lot of research and study, right? I'd only wish that you'd been here for another 12 months or so like that, so you could really get right into and understanding Frankston.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said, you would have given most of these candidates a run for their money. I know, and I think you still have, to be honest. All right,
Cool.
But like this stupid water world, get your mind off it, mate. That's just taking more fishing ground out of my bay. Just leave it alone. I know all you stupid ideas.
They could all sit around the edge, couldn't they, with their hand lines? No.
No, not deep enough.
Thank you very much, Sue. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay.
Brad,
Um,
you were
campaign
the
highlights.
third one to join. Campaign highlights.
Campaign highlights. Yeah, look, this isn't my first campaign, but I'd echo what the others have already said. Learning more about who's who in the community, hearing from voters about their concerns and what the residents are after. It's always an enriching experience when you're campaigning because of the groups of people that you meet and work with. And look, if I may say, everybody on this Zoom call is is no exception. Most of you I've only recently met, and I truly hope you all get elected, because I think we'd make a fine team.
Thank you, Brad.
Lowlights.
What's your highlights?
Lowlights.
Highlights?
Highlights. Highlights. Yeah. Look. I think I've mentioned them all. Getting out and about, learning how to run a campaign during COVID is rather different. A lot of the stuff I would normally do has not been done. But again, hearing from the community, meeting people, is an enriching experience. And those are my highlights.
Excellent. And what's your big idea? The one that you didn't dare put in front of the voters?
I actually have a 4-point plan that I haven't campaigned on, but if elected, I want to turn the Frankston Arts Centre into a pub. Right.
Yeah, I second that motion.
Yeah, right. I reckon it's a great location, enough room in there for a brewery, ratepayer subsidised beer, right? What could possibly be wrong with that? And Mr. Glenn Cooper he'll be in charge of security at the door. I think that'll be terrific.
That'll be the first time.
Number 2, the Pines Flora and Fauna Reserve. I think that could be Victoria's largest off-leash dog park. Attract people from miles and miles around. You get there, let Fido off his leash, and he'll have a ball in there. He'd love it. Point number 3, the beach, extremely underutilised. I think that needs to be greyhound races in the summer up and down the beach. What could possibly go wrong? Again, you'd attract people from miles around. And the Frankston CBD to be exclusively, I'm always hearing about car parking problems. Let's get the cars out of the CBD, make it exclusively for monkey bikes, right? All those people, who own a monkey bike now have a place to go and feel included, and all the trade that would generate, that'd be terrific.
So,
interesting collection of ideas. Yes, Shane.
Just quickly. First thing, pub, good. 4th, the monkey bikes. No, because where are all my guys going to be? That's where all the monkey bikes are. No. They're not. You're not taking them to the CBD at all. They're going to stay in my town.
You're going to keep them up in the northwest ward, or northeast ward.
They're going to be.
Yeah. Point of order, Glenn Cooper. Anything Brad's going to go if he gets elected?
Look, Brad and I go back way back, right? I remember when Brad was in council last time. Brad knows that I'm like about having a go at councillors as well, especially when they put in no smoking bans in stupid areas, right? Because, mate, do you know, I bought a cafe in Shannon Moore for one reason only, because I was in a wheelchair, right? And all these idiots in council go and put a smoking ban only in Shannon Moore. And I bought that so I could sit out the front with my smoke, all my rings, right? And all my mates come down like I was the Godfather, right? But they go and put a smoking ban in there and I lost everything. Anyway, so no, Brad and I go back a way.
We do.
All right. And, mate, he done a good job the last time I was in. I think you actually supported me lifting the smoking ban, so you get points for that. Right? So he's got the experience, right, with inside a council. Right? And once again, the ward that he was in, there's really, like what I'm thinking, there wasn't really much that he had to really fight against. There was only a couple of people that are actually against him in there that had half a chance, right? And so I think he's in for a chance in that ward, right? But if he starts running greyhounds up and down the beach, mate, I hope he's got to pick up the pooper scoopers himself.
It's a job creation scheme, all right?
Mate, I don't mind the idea of the arts centre turning into a pub and me running the security in there, right? As long as I can actually also run the bands and everything as well, so I can make some money.
That place, it might actually lend itself to a band.
Right. Oh, mate, absolutely. Right,
And you could add it,
mate.
You could add it to your hop on, hop off hovercraft trips, which take you out to Waterworld as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's
completely.
brilliant.
That'll work. Little side trip, hop up.
Yeah.
Go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, righto. Just get on with the next one, Steve.
Peter, you and I started these conversations back in the middle of July. I think it was. It's been a long journey. Highlights, lowlights.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Highlights are all to do with people, because I think people are the important thing in all of this and everything we do. Meeting the people I've met, meeting the people on this panel, meeting Glenn, understanding and learning what different people do. Basically getting into Facebook, which I almost hadn't done at all in the past. And the evils of Facebook have been reinforced, but also I actually have seen some good things about Facebook too. So it is a bit of a dichotomy, the old Facebook. So I'm pleased that I've found some groups on Facebook who are really into doing good things. And that's been rewarding, and having a little bit of a chat with them and thinking, oh, you know, there's some good entities there on Facebook. So that's been great. It's been an interesting journey, getting out and meeting the people. I would have preferred a campaign where you met actual people face to face. I would have been happier. I like talking to people face to face. Instead of even ringing up, I tend to go and visit somebody in their office and knock on the door and say, look, you know, there's a problem we might be able to fix together. I like that face-to-face contact. So I had to get very used to a different context and a different way of communicating with people and talking to them. So this has been really good. I've enjoyed that. At least, you know, you sort of almost, I forgot that I think I was mentioned the other day, and I think I'd forgotten that I actually hadn't met Justin face to face. I sort of thought I had. And I thought, oh, no, that's right. I've only met him on Zoom. This is like, it starts to become a little bit more real, you know, and when you can see the guy there with his lovely haircut and smile. And see, I'm just trying to help with your bit, Justin, there.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I've got your back some of the time. So yeah, no, it's been good from that point of view. The diversity of Frankston is amazing. From your, you know, in the South Ward, other wards, and then the sections of the ward, really diverse over to Langwarrin South, you know, and South Ward, and talking to people over there, and they'll talk about being forgotten and thinking, yeah, you've got to sort of not leave anybody behind when you're communicating. So look, that's all been great. I'm not going to talk about lowlights. I think I'll just call them interesting lights. And there's been a few of those, and I won't go into them in detail because I don't think we want to do that. But to all those people out there who are a little bit fraught during the whole thing, and just let's all settle down and remember we're all human beings here, and hopefully we've all got, you know, good things in our heart to try and achieve. And we may have differences, but you know, let's just let it all settle down. And if I don't get in, I just want good people to get in. Okay, that's the big thing. You know, I mean, here I am in my life, and you know, if I got the chance to do something good, yeah, fine. If that doesn't happen that way, well, hell, somebody else. You know, there's a lot of good people around. So get good people in the council who care about people. That's what we really need, and we'll communicate and try and, you know, solve as many problems. I know you're going to say, well, what's your one big thing? Well, I haven't got one. I'm going with Justin. And so to me, I don't have a problem like those other Sues and those other suggestions are, you know, I think you guys have just, Brad's especially. I mean, that was brilliant. That was one of the most, they're both brilliant. You're going to make, sort of get so many people offside of those two, which I think was the aim. I don't know. Well, certainly the aim with Brad's, and I think full marks. You did well there, Brad. So the pub idea, I'd have to go with that. But no big idea, because I do wonder if becomes a distraction. You know, a distraction. Oh, here's the one iconic thing. What we need for Frankston is a lot of base level things fixed. Okay, we've got to have a bit of vision going forward with the COVID thing, but we need some base level things fixed. And I'll tell you, one of those things we've talked about in the past, that's getting council right, getting council operating the right way. And I don't care if there's some tough rules in there in the future. I don't care if we bring in tough rules to stop bad behaviour. Let's have good behaviour. wish we didn't have to have rules, but damn hell, we need them. So, yeah, look, all of that. The big thing is to get things right and get things the way they should be operating. So, and thanks for starting all this off, Stephen. It was great.
No, you're welcome.
I enjoyed it in the early days, and it was great as people came on board. It's almost like people coming on board, and that's what we need for Frankston, people to get on board.
Thanks, Peter. Glenn?
Peter,
Yeah.
right. If you were actually going to put someone in council, right, via their qualifications, there's two people that stood out in the whole thing with qualifications, right, which outblow everyone. And Peter's actually one of them, right? Like you're standing within Chisholm and your boards and everything like that. Unfortunately, that you're a Navy man, right? So, but unfortunately, but that should be okay with me because you like boats.
I do.
Right? But look, I think if people had actually looked at and read Peter's portfolio and what he was all about and his experiences and everything like that, we actually need people like Peter on the council, right? And like I said, out of the whole councillors, there's two people that I know that have got extensive background, right? From fly boys to Navy boys to Army boys, and right to pusses and pongos, as they used to call it back in the old days, right? But I think Peter, once again, is going to be one of those, like a little bit like Sue. All right, is going to be one of those little bit of not so much an underdog because he's actually been there with you for a long time over this, Steve, for the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's actually going to be. I think he's going to give that Southward a bit of a run for their money. The people in there, I know that's my opinion. Yeah. So I'll be watching. I'll be watching there, okay. And I think he'd be in the top 4, to be honest. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Peter. I've got a short video from Oliver Hill, but I'm just going to do my highlights quickly because I can't subject all of you to that without doing it myself. Highlight for me has been, I've had 2 real highlights. One has been, the number one for me has been working with you guys and building a team over the last few months, which considering the fact that we've never actually physically met each other, I've met Peter for a COVID safe walk and I've met Brad during the course of leafleting, but that's it. I think we've done a pretty remarkable job, and so I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for that. And the other thing that I've really enjoyed about this campaign, aside from the wonderful people that I've met from a whole range of different backgrounds in Frankston, has been walking the streets of Frankston. I know a few candidates had some issues with leaflets not getting delivered and that kind of thing. The best decision we made, or the best decision that I made, was to actually walk out as many leaflets as I could. And it just opened my eyes to how wonderful a place Frankston is. There's so many little bits and pieces to Frankston I never knew were there. I've seen parts of it as I've lived here. I've seen parts of it through my involvement in the fire brigade, but to actually get out and walk around was, I've got to say, the highlight, and just seeing the variety of communities that we've got around the place. Look, small areas that are very different from other areas that are right next door. I just didn't expect at all. In terms of some of the challenges during the campaign, COVID, definitely, I like to get out and talk to people. I'm a talker. I enjoy getting out and actually seeing people face to face. So that's been the real struggle. And then I think the online campaigning piece was a real challenge. There were some moments there where you've got people chucking rocks and you don't even know why they're chucking rocks and they're not even real people. Definitely something that we're going to have to challenge going forward because it's just not on. If you wouldn't say it to your partner or your kids or your mother, why would you say it to somebody you'd never met before? But other than that, it has been a 99% positive campaign. My big idea, I'd like to take Pines Flora and Fauna. I've been watching a lot of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park with my kids. I'd like to turn it into a dinosaur-themed theme park, which, if we get the hovercraft idea right, we could actually, and the water slide and the chairlift going, we could actually bring all of that together as one big idea, obviously governed by Peter's rules. Glenn, over to you.
All right. I was going to say, Peter couldn't get 2 hoots about what you did because he disappeared.
He did.
You're on mute, Pete. No one heard it.
I can still hear.
All right. Hey, listen, you met me yesterday or Friday.
I did for the first time physically met you. We did the old elbow bump.
The old elbow trick, righto. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he looks completely different in person. Righto. I'm not going to say what I would say normally, better because I'm being nice today. Righto. He's just a little fella. Little chubby fella. Right. But yeah, mate, you've done you've done this for the last, as you said, July, you started this off. So what you've done, you were actually smart, right? Because the only way to actually run a campaign today was actually stick out leaflets, as I said, but it had to be done through social media, right? I know that people think that just because they've been sitting in that seat for a long time, people are going to vote for them anyhow, right? But the only way to get to know who the people were actually running, and I saw that through the show that I ran, because people would actually, they still do. They've been ringing me saying, who's this person and who's that person, and and I said, well, just go back to the video and watch what you make up your own mind. So what you've done is sitting here. Doing this is actually probably put you in the front running a little bit more than some of the other candidates that are actually running in your ward, right? So I think that you've got a chance, mate. So, but I've got to have a go at you and Brad and the whole lot of yous, because I was actually now, do you know, out of all those months, those weeks and weeks of doing this, I never ever have one person put crap on me. Right, up until I interviewed the brothers, right? And then I was accused of being a wolf in sheep's clothing, righto?
No.
And I think it's Brad's fault, righto? But
Name, Brad.
a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that all the shows that I did was propaganda for the Labor Party.
Oh,
What a load of crap.
Oh,
Righto. I am so apolitical.
who said that?
Mate, no,
Let's not go down that road.
I won't name it, but yeah, like I say, the stupid thing about it is organisations like us, which you lot all need to know if you get in, righto, we're all apolitical.
Yeah.
We don't sit on Labor or Liberal or the Elephant Party or the Comfy Party or anything like that. We've got to be there, and I think that I believe it myself. I think I done a camp interviewing everyone right on the fence, righto, and that's what that's what you did too, Steve. And and that's what you've done a good job of, righto. I know that you had to interview people like Justin, who doesn't know where he is or where he comes from.
Oh, that's pretty funny, mate.
Thank you very much for that, Glenn. I do appreciate it, and I think you've done a tremendous job yourself in terms of keeping it apolitical and getting a really wide range of candidates on. And just as I did, I reached out to all the candidates bar one, and the ones that stuck their hand up and made an effort got to join in the conversation, and I think you've done the same there. So I think thank you for that. And I think if it wasn't for you, Frankston people wouldn't know who most of the candidates were as well. So I think you deserve to give yourself a clap for that as well.
Yeah, I will too.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Glenn.
Now,
Justin, thank you.
I'm going to stick everyone on mute because I'm going to try and play, and hopefully the audio will come through. But I've got a pre-record from the candidate for West Ward, or not candidate anymore, now councillor for West Ward, according to the VEC, elected unopposed. I'm going to try and see if we can get the video to play. So if you guys wouldn't mind just muting yourselves, we'll see if we can make this work. And here we go. Hopefully.
Hey everyone, Oliver Hill here. Well, thank you for having me on Candid Conversations.
Not candidate anymore, now councillor for West. Well,
As you know, I've been a huge fan of the show. I think I've caught absolutely every episode. So thanks for having me along for the journey. Best of luck to all the candidates. It's been a long, tough campaign, but I think you've all campaigned very well. Kept it pretty civil, kept the ideas flowing, and just remember, it's all about Frankston, not about us. So do your best for Frankston. I really want you to all take your responsibilities very, very seriously. Now, the people of Frankston deserve the absolute best from all of us. So keep an open mind, keep your ears open. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge out there in the community, and I think you can learn more from the people than you actually know already. So listen to what the people want and help them to shine. Okay, now, another issue, as you know, that's very important to me is environment and history. It's a bridge to the past and it's a link to the future. So consider these things. Don't let these things slip. You can activate the shit out of the place, but without these links, Frankston will lose its soul. Well, also another important thing is teamwork. We've all got to work together. We want to build the best Frankston in the world. We want to help the people of Frankston shine. We want this a timeless place for the ages. So really dig deep, work for Frankston. Frankston loves you guys. We all love Frankston. So big kiss and go Frankston! Hey everyone, Oliver here.
So that's pre-record thanks to Oliver Hill. I'm going to return the kisses. Mwah. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a minute. That's the message from Oliver Hill. Any thoughts or reflections on how we're going to be able to work with the new councillor for Westward?
Mate, I just think, right, one thing about Oliver Hill, I'm glad he's a puppet and not a dummy. But yeah, and I like his stance on environment. It's really good. I know, mate. As long as he doesn't shed his hair as he's walking down, when some poor dog that actually greyhound ranges down there and just grabs him off the beach and starts ripping his head around. Thank you very much for that, Brad Hill. Right, introducing greyhounds into them. Poor Oliver Hill, right, has got a copper because of you. I know. But I think that if he gets, I mean, he's in now, so that's good. I reckon we should elect him, right? All the councillors ever get in there. Yep. I think we need to get him 3 years as mayor, because I think that he might be able to chair that better than half the ones that I've seen in there. Yep. So yeah, no, good on you, Oliver. Mate, I like you. Let's go fishing, mate. You promised me fishing. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you now. And I promised this to Michael O'Reilly, and I've got to keep my promise for this. If he doesn't look after some of these community groups, right, I'm going to take you out in the boat and I'm going to put concrete slippers on you and you're not coming back. So you've got to look after us community groups.
I think the thing for Oliver Hill, of course, is that he doesn't need concrete slippers. You can just put a brick in him and then away he goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mate, don't give away my secrets, please. That's how I used to cut them up and put bricks in their stomachs.
Right. Look, it's been a really interesting campaign, and I wanted to share a couple of things from other parts of the state as well. Some people may already have seen this. This is from somebody who was going to be running. Not running in the city of Moreland. It's probably one of the best examples I've seen of campaign material so far. I'll just bring it up here. It's from somebody called Madeline, who's not running in the 2020 election, but has some great ideas. I think we made a mistake with our own campaigning, not picking up on some of these, but I think this is one of the best examples I've seen of campaign material so far. Yeah. Some brilliant achievements. Came third in mini golf out of 4 people. I have to admit, I have done that before myself as well. I also once came 4th in mini golf too. Won the Lolly Jar guessing competition in 1997 as another great example there. Once had older learners permit I think a few of us might end up with a learner's permit if we end up elected as well. This is the kind of material I think we need to think of for 2024. I think the boring material that we all had just doesn't really cut the mustard. And then I think this one that I'm about to show you here, this one is my favourite of the whole campaign. This one comes from a candidate in Bacchus Marsh. It is possibly the best campaign slogan and the best campaign material that I think I've ever seen. And I said, keep Bacchus spicy. I think, you know, maybe we can keep Frankston fresh, similar theme. Might be a few other ideas we can throw in there as well. Maybe we need to go and talk to the marketing department of Frankston City Council. The next one, I have to admit, we've done a little bit of Photoshop action on the next one, but this for me was, after seeing one of the photos that was posted on Frankston Community Notice Board, we felt that we needed to get within the theme, and I'd like to thank Chris Bolam for putting that photo in the public space. This one really is, I think, this is what we're going for. If we all get elected, we need to get a group shot done like this. So I'd like to thank Chris for sharing this one. It has been an outstanding campaign, both with the sitting councillors and a lot of the new candidates. This is possibly, I think, the point where, you know, we've had a few laughs, we've had a few giggles, but I think the last thing we need to do is we need to say thank you to an awful lot of people. So I'm just going to give everyone the chance to say thank you. And we'll start again with you, Shane, and let you say thank you to the people you want to say thank you to.
Cool. No worries. Yeah, so in the whole scheme of things, I want to thank Robin, my partner, all the kids for putting up with all the stuff and all the messages and stuff that's been pretty much ongoing even up until yesterday. I'm still getting questions and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, parents, everything. Yeah, they've been supportive, obviously, with the kids. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And pretty much all you guys for tolerating me, I guess, through all this kind of stuff. But also, yeah, just to help out. There was a lot of times where I'm not sure on things and stuff, and then messaging her to going, oh, what do you think about this? So it was good that I've got that fallback as well. So hopefully that's good and it's put me in good stead going forward. So if I get elected, then hopefully, and if all of us get all elected, then hopefully that continues. So yeah, it's been really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin.
Stephen. No, well, look, I think Shane summed it up nicely. You know, I'm not going to do the acceptance speech, but no, it definite big thank you to my wife Daisy and my two sons Nicholas and Patrick for me not being there for the last, oh God, how long's it been? 6-8 weeks or whatever it is.
Ages.
Feels like an eternity. It was a conversation I had the other day, which was there was going to be this huge gap in my life now where I'm not campaigning, and I actually don't know how to fill the time anymore. But look, I especially want to thank everyone in this room, even Mr. Cooper there, especially you, Stephen, for obviously providing the platform and the forum. Yeah, look, I've said it online, but I'll repeat it as well. There are the sort of forums like the Frankston Community Notice Board, Frankston Community Connect, amongst a myriad of others that have been an absolute champion in supporting us as candidates. And irrespective of the outcome, I would like to thank Frankston for allowing me to do it, for accepting me sort of warts and all, good ideas and bad ideas, and for providing their feedback back as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Justin. Sue.
Yeah, lots of people to thank. My son initially for really supporting me to have a go and put my hand up, even though he did have to travel off overseas. But he's, you know, Instagram, Facebook, we've been able to support. He's been able to support me from afar, which has been great. Some friends who don't live in the ward, but I've known a very long time. I've known about 30 years, have been on hand to support me. And one friend in particular, Diana, has sent masses of messages and ideas and really been supportive the whole way through, which again has been great in isolation. This team, Stephen, you're a champ to set it up, because it really has made the difference. And I don't even want to think what it would have been like without running this kind of campaign in this way. And then all the people that I've met, either part of community groups or individuals, just for having the guts and the courage and the taking the opportunity to approach me, who's only been here a year. I think it's just clocking up a year now, to say, you know, who are you and what are you about? And can we have a conversation? And that's made all the difference to me, feeling relevant and just supporting me. So that's been great. And all the notice boards that you've mentioned, Justin. And also I feel very blessed that I live in a place where I can take this opportunity. There are many places in the world where you just don't get this opportunity to put your hand up, to have a democratic opportunity to say, I want to make a difference to my community. This is who I am. This is how I want to be. And that's a real privilege in its own right, being able to do that. So don't know who I thank for that, but anyway, it's good. It's good that I can do this. So thanks, Stephen.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sue. Brad.
Lots of people to thank. My fellow candidates, of course, especially Stephen and Peter. We worked together early on in the piece with our leaflets and so forth. And I think for each of us, we covered a lot more of our wards than we would have otherwise. So I'm particularly grateful to them. My partner, Jenny, who helped me with letterboxing, that's a real test of a relationship right there, when they're prepared to walk the streets with your letterboxing. My children also help with that. Thank you very much. All the people who allowed me to have a corflute in their front yard, and other businesses around Frankston, particularly Lucky's in Young Street, a terrific operation. If you haven't ever had a look at that place, the Lucky Inn Chinese restaurant in Foot Street, Trim's Cafe, and a couple of others. I'd like to thank all the people who voted for me. Appreciate the confidence you have in me and your vote. And if elected, I won't let you down. I'd like to thank also all the people who rang me and emailed me during the campaign. Those who took the time to research the candidates and ask the questions, and even if there were some ridiculous questions, at least they're making the effort to do their homework on what's important to them. And all the people I stepped on during the campaign, I'd like to thank them as well. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's have the count.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Brad. Peter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people to thank, so I'll probably forget somebody, but so I'll start with you, Stephen. It's easy to remember. Yeah, thanks for starting it all off, and it was great to do that, and I've said that just a minute ago, so I won't say any more, but it was a great thing to do. It was great to work with you and Brad, sharing the different things, handing out the pamphlets, the DLs and all of that. That was what a damn good idea that was. Instead of 20,000, we wanted 6,500. So that worked out well. I want to thank my next door neighbour, who's known as Little Kenny. He was actually in the Navy once as well. So we talk Navy talk and really give the irrits to our other friends when we start talking Navy talk. But he was a great help. He helped put up that huge edifice of 3 corflutes. God, it was a construction. But anyway, lots of people saw it. It was a loft over Carr Street virtually. All you guys here, it's really good. I want to thank Glenn for his show. Thanks very much, Glenn. Good on you. It was a great thing to do, and to get through all the candidates and let people of Frankston know who they're going to vote for, or something about them at least. What a good idea. Great idea. So there's that. My other friends, Tim and Miriam, who helped as well. I want to thank that there was I can't think of her name, a woman who was 80 years old who handed out a few DLs for us.
Mm-hmm.
Good on her. Good on her. What a brilliant woman. She's 80 years old, and she would have done more. So good on her. And thanks to all those people in Franks who asked me questions. I got back to. It was great to get asked questions. It's good for people to be engaged like that. Who else is there? I don't know. I think I've just about run out, so I might stop there. There's one person who cannot be named who I thanked her on the Facebook page. She contacted me early. I see her as sort of a mentor. And a mentor and a sage advisor. And I'll say nothing except she has had experience of this sort of thing some years ago. That's all I'll say, because she probably wouldn't want to be identified. But thanks very much to her for helping me as well. And also a woman called Lauren. She's a friend of mine and a close friend, known her for many years. She helped as well, and particularly source of lots of interesting advice from different quarters. So very handy. Other than that, yep, that's it for me. I think I've covered just about everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Peter. Glenn, I'm going to give you the chance to close. So I'm just going to do my thanks, and then I'm going to let you do the wrap up. So I, just like everyone else, there's family members I need to thank. I need to thank Kim and the kids for all the hard work that they've done, and also putting up with me working, homeschooling and campaigning all at the same time. I had an amazing group of volunteers, families and individuals from the basketball club, the primary school, the fire brigade and so on, who really put themselves out, age range from 8 to 80, who just churned through maps of South Ward like you wouldn't believe, and I'm enormously grateful for them. Really grateful for the people who had corflutes or posters put on in their windows or on their front fences and so on, and some who also agreed to take on corflutes for 3 candidates, which was really great on their part as well. There've been a huge number of businesses that have been in touch with me with support. I want to especially mention places like down the street in Foot Street. They do great coffee. I'd like to also thank the people that reached out, like the people from Donation Chain and Gap Fed and other places who've kept me grounded. But also I'd like to thank all the former councillors, and one of whom, Peter, we both know who we're talking about, but also people like Glenn Cooper, who I think we probably spoke every second day during the campaign. You were always open and straight with me and would tell me whether it was a stupid idea or not. And speaking of that, I'd also like to thank the people who reviewed policy positions and so on for me. I also got to do a shout out for One Pear Tree. They've become a regular feature of my morning walk, and they were kind enough to take corflutes from more than one candidate. But lastly, I just want to thank the people of Frankston who've reached out, who've embraced this platform. We have reached literally thousands of people through these sessions, and win or lose, doesn't matter. Let's hope we get the right council to take Frankston forward for the next 4 years. And so I just want to say a really big thank you to the people of Frankston. I hope that I'll be joining the other candidates on this call in the chamber. But if we don't, I tell you what, we'll make sure that we keep them honest as well. Glenn, over to you.
All right. Well, thanks. Anyway, look, I've got to say thank you to all of you that actually had the testicles to actually and fortitude, like, because I can't. I was realising.
Too late, Glenn. Just move on.
I know. I realised I got a lovely person in here as well, but that it had the courage to actually come on and actually be interviewed, not only by me, but I've actually come in and you've spoken with Steve. Steve's done a lot of good work, right? And it was good to see that he wasn't selfish in what he did, because he wasn't just pushing his own name out there. He was trying to actually get every candidate as well to have a bit of a crack, right? And which is good, because I think you've basically had quite a number. There's a few people that are not here today that you've had on as well, right? But you've got to congratulate every single one of your candidates, whether you get in or not. What you've done, and I believe, is you've learnt about Frankston, right? And like I said earlier, I'm not going to stop this, right? I am going to go and keep them honest, all right? I will actually have live shows. I'm thinking about once a month. I'll, like we'll do it Zoom, or like I'll probably do it Zoom, right? And I'll actually invite the candidate or the councillors that are actually on to come on and face the general public, all right? And then also probably do one that if we don't see the right things happening, is actually the ones that don't get in there, we will work together, right? Just because and this is my thoughts, and Brad knows my stance, right? Just because you haven't got your bum on the seat with the other 8 other people there, doesn't mean that you can't have a voice here in Frankston, right? And that's what Frankston Community Connect was set up for, right? Is so we can all join together and have a voice, right? Make the council, right? The councillors listen to us, right? The general public out here, right? Not the minority groups or anything like that, but the whole community, right? But you've all done a great job, and mate, I wish you all luck. I don't know, like I said, this one's a real hard one because the only way to campaign this time was through walking and through social media. Right? And I know that there's ones out there that I offered to come on and they've neglected to come on, right? They had the opportunity, right? The sitting candidates that I actually asked to come on because there was a lot of crap going on out there about them, and they had their opportunity to come on and actually say, well, that's not true, or that I've done something or whatever, right? And change people's minds about it, right? So, but anyway, you've all done a great job, right? And I wish us luck. But listen, once you get in there, remember, I'm still sitting out here after you.
Good on you.
Good.
Just
Good.
remember,
Thanks
don't
very
go
much,
to
Glenn.
Commissioner Glenn.
And I wouldn't expect anything less than to keep us honest if we do get elected.
Absolutely.
Just raise a glass to each of you and say thank you very much. Going to stop the live stream now, but thank you again, Frankston. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Nice one there, Peter. He's got his special stance on there.
That's nice. The copycat stance.
Huge fan. We look forward to talking to Frankston again soon. And as Glenn is, he's going to continue the Facebook Lives. I've had a few people ask if I'll continue mine, but take care, Frankston. Stay safe. Enjoy the next long weekend, which is next weekend, and hopefully we will all be able to come together soon.
Yeah.
Yes, Glenn.
Tuesday night, Frankston Lions Club will be on
Frankston
live on
Lions Club.
Tuesday night. The one after
Excellent.
that will be the Young People with a Purpose. And then I've got my 2 mates coming on, the Wright brothers,
Right.
Ryan and Ash Wright. So if you're oldies like us, you'll know who they are. They're good friends of mine.
They invented the aeroplane, didn't they?
You're smart. That's it. Have you been teaching him, Peter?
Thanks very much, Frankston. Look forward to being able to get into the same space as soon as restrictions allow, and have a great weekend, what's left of it.